Hi everyone! So I'm sitting in one of the outdoor areas here at the dorms that I was telling you about the other day. This is officially called the Student Village. We're in the neighborhood of French Hill, supposedly named after a British commander whose last name was French. And I'm just going to show you a little panorama of what the courtyard looks like here, because this is just to give you a bit of a sense of the atmosphere. So bear with me a moment. So you've got dorm buildings over there. Like I said, they're apartments. This is the Simon family building. And if you look over here, we've got some nice trees and such. There's another building over there. This is the south gate. So that's one of the ways that you can exit the student compound. And then more up here, you can see how tall they are. My dorm is over in that direction. And then more dorms over here. There we go. So let me just put my camera back there. I'm not sure if I'm putting it in exactly the same spot, so sorry about that if that's not quite right. But yes, I'm going to tell you a little bit about yesterday, because I did start to blog yesterday late at night when I was absolutely exhausted lying in my bed, and then my battery died. And I did not have the strength to get out of bed. So I filmed a part of a video yesterday, but it shut off after a minute. So we're going to be talking about yesterday, May 8th, today, and also May 9th in a separate video. So yesterday we left the Rossburg International School at 8:50. We were supposed to leave at 8:40, but yours truly was a little bit too enamored with my bed, let us say. And I was running down the road to the university at 8:40. I think I left our room at 8:40, maybe at 8:35. And so we were able to leave in fairly good time, but obviously I felt quite bad for slowing the group. But hopefully, God willing, it's going to get better in terms of just dealing with jet lag and everything, and my plan is to not be the last one, so let's see how that goes. I'll keep you updated. But anyway, so we left at 8:50 from the Rossburg School for the Israel Museum. Words cannot describe how amazing that was. Tomorrow is Saturday, it's the Sabbath, and actually many of us are going back to the museum because there just wasn't enough time to look at everything. The richness, the breadth and the depth of what that museum covers is not to be believed. Professor Delansky said to me as we were running through the hallways, and she was often having to call Matea because I was just too engulfed in everything around me and taking pictures and what have you, said that, you know, on that day the goal was breadth rather than depth. And I think that that's fair. We were trying to cover a huge swath of Israeli history, of Hebrew history. And I think that we really accomplished that, but I'm excited to go back tomorrow and see everything in more depth. So just a quick summary, we went to the archaeological wing where we got to see bronze calves, which are interesting from a biblical perspective. We got to see a horned altar, which had what was seemingly a snake etched onto it. We had the opportunity to see pottery and jewelry and carved reliefs of a terrible battle that happened at Lachish, which is a site we visited a couple of days ago, which was in Sennacherib's throne room, who was the king who conquered the people of Lachish and much of Judah. We got to see some synagogues which were transplanted from their original settings to the museum here in Israel. So one of them was from Suriname, which used to be a Dutch colony, so I got to see some Dutch on the walls, which was quite nice for me. We also got to see a synagogue from India with beautiful, ornately carved wood. It was just amazing. There was also one from Italy, gold leaf and everything, very Renaissance, or I can't remember what the name of the style is, but it was very ornate and beautiful. There was also a synagogue from Germany, which was also wood, but it was painted. Also just exquisite artwork. And if I get a chance, I'm going to post some pictures of that on Facebook and such, and I might do a link in a later video to some of those images if you're interested. What else was there? We also got to see the Dead Sea Scrolls, of course, I'm sorry. So connected to the Israel Museum is the place that houses the Dead Sea Scrolls. It's called the Shrine of the Book. And they were all laid out there so beautifully, and it was just inspiring to see them. I was a bit perturbed when we arrived, when we went inside, and there were tour groups milling around and people chatting and tour guides talking, and when I entered, I immediately felt a sense of reverence, and I was, like I say, I was upset that people were talking and not seemingly entering into the gravity of the moment, but that was perhaps just my experience. And I know I've been saying that now a few times, that I've gone somewhere and I've been upset that people are reacting in a certain way. And I just wanted to clarify, I don't mean to say that as a thing of being intolerant. It's not that I in any way hate those people or you know, I'm going to remain angry at them or anything. Like I say, it's very much a personal response, and I think that everybody reacts to these things differently, and that's one of the things that makes it so interesting, is the diversity of experiences that it enables. But yeah, so we got to go to see the Dead Sea Scrolls, and particularly moving for me was the Isaiah Scroll, which was, we got to see a portion of it in one of the cases, and then in the middle of the room was a facsimile of the entire 734 centimeter long scroll, which contained the entire book of Isaiah. After the Israel Museum, we took the bus to the Knesset, which is the the Israeli Parliament, and we got to have a tour. Because we'd been running around like crazy people in the museum trying to see as much as we possibly could. We were all quite tired, so I think a few people had moments where when we were sitting in like a committee room, for example, and our guide Hannah was telling us about the Knesset and about its historical significance, its modern day significance, and the power of the people, and how the multi-party system really entails democracy, or allows democracy and everything. It was so fascinating, but we were all really tired and still jet-lagged, so there was a little bit of heads nodding there. I'm trying to remember what we did after the Knesset. Oh yes, we came back to the dorms. We had a bit of a chance to freshen up, and then we went back to Hebrew University and I didn't go to the dorms except to go and grab a few things, because I needed to go and do some work in the computer labs at the Rothberg School. So we made our way to everyone made their way to the room where we were going to receive a guest lecture from Benny Porat, who is a professor in the Hebrew University Law School. And he talked to us a little bit about religion and public life. So the ways in which, for example, ancient biblical law and Jewish law has in some ways influenced Israeli law. He talked specifically about the Good Samaritan law, which itself is a Christian naming of an earlier commandment from Leviticus to not stand by when somebody's blood is being shed. So that led to the modern Israeli law, which says that if somebody is in direct danger, that you have to go and help them, which I think is a really wonderful thing. And he talked a bit more about marriage and divorce and Jewish law pertaining to that, and Israeli law pertaining to that, and it was also a very interesting lecture. After that, we all came back to the dorms. We did some work in the computer lab, which is over there, which is why I'm pointing in that direction. Sarah and myself made a video for our amazing friend Hannah, who is our roommate. And Hannah, if you're watching this, hello and happy belated birthday. And we just made a quick video for her to wish her a happy birthday, and then headed back into the computer lab and did some more work, and then finally everybody headed off to bed. I know there was also some people who were having a bit of a night cap, a nachtborrel, as we say in Dutch, in the Einstein, which is the name of the pub next to, I was going to say bar, but then I decided to say pub, next to the computer lab, but I decided not to because I was pretty tired. So that was pretty much everything that happened yesterday.